for Greeny. And today we got a star-studded crew. I got my boy Jay Will, CJ McCollum is here, and obviously Wendy is here too. But we got to start with the biggest news of the day. Bronny James is a Laker.
Fifth pick in the 2024 NBA Draft. The Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James.
What a beautiful sight. Bronny James hearing his name called as a Los Angeles Laker here at a dinner party in NYC. The family was there, Savannah, Bryce, Rich Paul, and his famous father, LeBron. They're the new Griffies, the first father-son duo in NBA history. 19-year-old James joins USC mid-season after having heart surgery. And after only averaging 5 points a game, his stock improved in the combine, testing extremely well. Bronny James posted a picture of himself, or LeBron James posted a picture of himself and the young Bronny with one word: legacy. Obviously, there was a ton of chatter around this pick, and Woj was not here for the foolishness.
I don't want to hear these charges, people talking about nepotism.
No,
the NBA is full of nepotism.
Full of it.
The ownership level, front offices, coaching.
Yep.
I don't want to hear it all of a sudden because of Bronny James's father plays for the Lakers. Right. It is rampant in this league.
I mean, we're talking about nepotism. Giannis's brother plays for the Bucks, and if you've ever seen him on the court, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm joined by Jay Will, CJ McCollum. This is for you, Wendy. What insight can you give us about the way that this all came about?
Yeah, well, I think there was a time in which that LeBron and his agent and Bronny's agent, Rich Paul, were open to Bronny going to other teams. But as the process came down, it became clear that they were going to do their best to get him to the Lakers. It was clear in their actions over the last month to 6 weeks when he really limited the amount of workouts he was going to do. He went through the full draft combine, but he really wouldn't work out for any other teams. And a number of teams wanted to bring him in, and he only would work out for the Suns and work out for the Lakers. And, you know, in the days leading up to the draft, you know, Rich Paul made it clear Bronny's goal was to get to the Lakers at that 55th pick. And then even on draft day itself, day 2 of the draft yesterday, Rich Paul was calling teams and asking them not to draft Bronny so that he could get his way to the Lakers. The Lakers had expressed interest in using that 55th pick. So this was something that they badly wanted. LeBron has talked about it for years. It was all lined up. Bronny got himself in position to be drafted, got himself, to be desired by the Lakers, and that's the way it played out.
You know, with the Rich Paul and Bob Myers saying that Rich Paul was telling teams that Bronny would go to Australia if they drafted him, how rare is that for an agent to move this way in the second round?
It's not rare at all. It's something that happens. It happens in the first round where agents call and ask teams not to trade for not to draft their player. In fact, it happens often. Sometimes the agents even say don't draft at all, and they want their player to get through the draft and just be able to be a free agent. As far as threatening for Australia, the NBL down there is a league that likes to take teenagers and develop them. So that is something that was a reasonable threat. Did anybody actually think he was going to do it? No, but it was Rich Paul doing his job as an agent. It was not outside the normal bounds of what often happens on day 2 of the draft.
Jay Will, you didn't seem surprised by this pick. This pick didn't seem to upset you. When you think about the sort of power this shows that LeBron James has, what does it say about his legacy in the league that he's now playing with his son?
I mean, how about the fact that, RC, this year LeBron James, compared to the year that Bronny James was born in October 6, 2004, the only thing that is lower is his scoring average per game. It's 1 point. Everything else is higher. 20 years later than when Bronny was born, his numbers are better. Shooting percentage from the field, 3-point shooting percentage, assists, rebounds. Like, it's incredible, right? So for me, Bronny James, and when you talk about nepotism, and Woj is right, CJ, we're in business all the time, right? It's for business overall. We see nepotism. Yeah. The thing that makes this okay for me is the demeanor and the personality trait of who Bronny is. Yeah. Bronny isn't off the rails, tweeting, saying crazy things. He's not out there flaunting the fact that he's LeBron James' son. He's handling his business. He's been doing work on the court. He shows up to practice early. He stays late. I spent time with him. I called 2 games of his, CJ. When you watch him play, yeah, you could say, okay, his numbers didn't equate to being the 55th pick in the draft, but really I would ask anybody else, who were the last 4 picks at the 55th pick in the draft, right? I know Aaron Wiggins because he plays for OKC, but I can go back to 2016 when there were multiple first-round picks that are no longer in the league. A lot of this league is about fit, and a lot of this is also around the opportunity around Bronny for what it does to LeBron. Now that we drafted your son, LeBron, where are you going? Are you going to give us a family discount? How do we move this ball forward?
I don't foresee him taking a family discount, for the record, but I think looking at this situation, I'm excited for them as a family. Like, this is a huge, huge legacy play. History has been made, and it's a sign that, like you said before, Bronny is doing things the right way, right? It's a low-risk, high-reward pick. He's 55th in the draft. He's not supposed to come in and contribute right away. The real work starts now. He has to work on his craft. He has to show that he's dedicated, and he has to take advantage of this opportunity so that people that are talking about him regret this later on down the road. And I think the development plan the Lakers have in place will be crucial for him. And who better to learn from than arguably the greatest player of all time, not only in your household, but now on the road with you, teaching you a real routine and getting you ready for what this game has to offer.
CJ, how does this play in the locker room? You, as a veteran, would you look at this in any particular way to see how LeBron and Bronny James are treated now within the organization?
This isn't the first time that someone has been drafted by a team or made a team and it been controversial, or there have been issues associated with, well, they're only on the team because of this. Every head coach that gets a job hires their boys. They hire their buddies. They hire people that they're comfortable with, people they may have worked alongside. You look at the front office. You look at ownership groups. They put their sons on all the time who don't even have experience. This is a kid who has played in college, right? He's had some issues with health. He's overcome that. He's shown an ability to work. He's a good defender. He has the upside of Derek White, probably Davion Mitchell. But this is the 55th pick in the draft. It's not like he was selected in the top 10. This is a pick in which they have time to develop him. No one in the locker room is going to care. You know why? Because LeBron James has a lot of control, a lot of power. He's arguably the greatest player of all time. And Bronny's going to be on the Stay Ready team, right? Like, for those that don't know what Stay Ready is, it means if you're not in the rotation or if you're not getting heavy minutes, you're playing games on a day-to-day basis that no one sees, with staff, with players, with development teams, with coaches, and that's how you get better. I was a first-round pick in the draft, and I played in the G League, and I played in Stay Ready games 3 days a week. It's a process, it's a journey, and he has a chance now to really take advantage of this and show that with his work ethic and dedication, this is a pick that was honestly the right pick.
A lot of times when people see guys get drafted, they're like, oh, he should just make the team or he should be playing. So much of this is fit, right? And what your situation is. He talked about playing in the G League, having the right temperament and having the right coaching staff to make sure that you can be long-term successful in the league. I feel like that's the opportunity that Bronny's going to have here because of the patience that's going to be around him. I think he can blossom into a role player. But just to go back to the point, CJ, if you're LeBron James right now, how do you not think about taking somewhat of a family discount if your goal is to win a championship? Obviously, things need to happen around D'Lo. Does he opt in? Does he opt out? But if you could take a family discount and that allows you to go after somebody in free agency that you can then combine, right, with the likes of you and Anthony Davis, considering that the Lakers have paid homage to you, right? Now they have created a family environment. This is a really big thing. Like, I think you have to consider that if you're LeBron James in his camp.
Wendy, expand on the family discount and what that could mean for LeBron and the Lakers.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is this isn't just picking a player that's related to LeBron James. This is picking a player that helps the entire organization both now and the future. And you say, well, how does that work? Well, first off, the Lakers have developed a culture that they take care of their superstar players. That was something established by Jerry Buss literally 40 years ago, and the Jeannie Buss intends to hold on to throughout her tenure as owner. And that's something that this does. This sends that message that if you're a superstar player, we're going to take care of you and your family. And the reason it makes some sense now, we've got a very interesting decision from D'Angelo Russell. I would argue that after the Paul George opt-in decision, which is coming on Saturday, D'Angelo Russell's decision on the opt-in is the second most relevant thing. And the reason that's relevant is if D'Angelo opts out of his contract, it is possible that LeBron James could take a little bit less money and open up the mid-level exception for the Lakers to go out into the market for a considerable free agent. Who that player might be will depend on many things happening over the next 2 or 3 days, including what happens with Russell. If Russell opts in, I don't think it'll be there. But I do think LeBron, his max contract is around $51 million. If he is presented with an option that he could take a little bit less, $8 to $10 million less, and it could add a big player, I do think that's something he'd be willing to consider. But I think it's a much easier conversation now, the day after they've drafted his son, and he would want to be a part of that no matter what. So lots of moving pieces, but let's keep an eye on that. The Lakers had a bunch of different reasons why they would want to put Bronny James on their team.
Jay, real quick, is this the right move by the Lakers?
To draft Bronny James?
Draft Bronny James.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, at the end, like Wendy just said it before. I remember before there was a lot of talk when D Wade was thinking about going to Chicago around, does Chicago take care of its players?